33. I've been in the community for, well, it'll be 3 years in October. And actually, that was really interesting. You know, you might be a question about what do your immediate family think about this. The answer would be, well, they're very good about it. I mean, they have no choice. They could be awful, and they're not, and they might not like it. I think, you know, there might be aspects of them that find it odd and difficult. It is, but fundamentally, there's nothing else really that I feel I could be doing. It's not at the moment. It's difficult, you know. I'm a child of the 90s, and you know, most of my brothers were well professed here in the 90s. You know, I'm really aware of that. You know, my Christian name is Mark, and it's Mark M-A-R-C. And somebody did ask me, one of the brothers asked me, you know, why is it Mark with a C? And you know, you're not like the apostle. You know, I said, no. My mum didn't like that spelling. She thought it was, you know, too much equivalent to a mark on clothes, or, you know, an indelible mark or whatever, and didn't like it. But I said she was a big Mark Ullman fan and a big Mark Bolan fan. Who? Okay, you don't know who they are. Explain who they are. Who? What? What's glam rock? You know, what's new romantic music? Oh dear. And then it isn't until later that you think, well, how do I sort of, the whole business of acculturation has been a big deal. So we can obviously listen to the news, watch the news. We can watch TV. We're not restricted from those things in the monastery. The appropriation of them is something that you have to work on, and we've given a lot of thought to things like how we use social media and all the rest of it.
Those who seek the Lord lack nothing that is good. For all your good gifts, we glorify you, Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, one God, now and forever. Amen.
Yeah, so the answer to that is that the community does have opportunities for interaction. We, I suppose, don't go seeking those, or haven't historically, although we do have a fair bit of going out. The community's thing has always been going out leading missions, perhaps not so much these days, but I mean historically you might have heard of a chap called Augustine Hoey, who was, he was a brother of CR, not latterly, but has just died, aged 101, and was renowned for his missionary work, particularly going out and preaching. You know, it was just a real sort of, but in the kind of high zeal of the Roman Catholic, well, the Anglo-Catholic tradition. He became a Roman Catholic later, but you know, this thing about going where the poor were, particularly. And indeed, that was the initial kind of inspiration for these 6 priests in Oxford to, you know, they were Pusey House guys. They had strong socialist consciences, and they felt that they should be doing something. They were ordained, but they wanted to come and work with the poor, and particularly those who might have a call to ordination or to theological learning, but wouldn't have otherwise got a chance. And so the community's always had that kind of educative charism, as it's called, that educative gift. Yeah, you do. You can maintain a sense of privacy. The irony of that is that you tend to live that by doing things like keeping a day off a month. We only get a day off a month here. I mean, some communities have a day off a week. The Franciscans do. I think Yeah, well, for whatever the historic reasons, but at the moment it stands that we have a day off a month. And again, you know, I do have them, and I do. I was good as a novice. I must try and make sure that when I'm professed, I still do it. Um, for example, we've got a brother who's just gone away. Who we were only talking about this the other day. That he said, you know, he happened to be. He works in the bursary and took a call from a friend of his, and you know, one of our members of staff who also works with him in the bursary said, you know, well, who was that? And he said, it's my friend. And I'm going, oh, you know, and it was kind of, there was a bit of an assumption, oh, you allowed friends other than that? Yes, you know, and we go off and have days out, and, you know, we're not accountable in those days out in terms of reporting back. So if I go off on holiday for a week, I don't have to ring up and say I've got here safely, or all we have to do is do things like leave a number and leave contact details. We're obliged to really do that just for courtesy. Just important that somebody knows where you are, but we've not got no obligations when we're off to, for example, go to services. We can have a private life, because everybody has a private life. I think what you have to learn to do is live your private life, if this makes sense, in a way that's congruent with the community, and that even such that your private life has a degree of transparency about it. So if you live in a private life where, you know, you're going to meet your secret boyfriend every week, which has happened in communities and can happen, and what, then that might be a problem vocationally for you and for the community, and yeah, you've got all those kind of considerations to bear in mind, really, as living the monastic life, as a nun or a monk. Yeah, you do.
born again by water and the Spirit, that